Hello, 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 and welcome, people. How is everybody doing? So, we're going to give it a few minutes and let people file in. And then we're going to get right to this because I found this very interesting. Very, very interesting. And I've got some stuff to show you guys. Hello, Lori. There's Nana. Hello, Nana. How are you? Hope everybody is doing well. So I've come across some information. I'll put this over here because I want to show you guys this first. So as we're waiting, I'll just get this pulled up right so you guys can see it. Let me get my screen shared here. All right, there we go. I'll make this bigger. Merritt, hello. Cat H, hello. Teresa, hello. Cat. There's Get. Everybody piling in. Okay, so we're just going to briefly go through this, you guys, because I'm sure a lot of you have already heard about this document already. Let me just get my studio up here and make sure you guys smash that like, please, on your way in. If you haven't done so, just pop out of chat, hit that like, come on back in. When you come back in, make sure you have live chat selected at the top of your screen so you don't miss anything. Just me, hello. Be kind, hello. Okay, so let's get into this. Christine Isabel says number 8. Hello, Christine. Good to see you, my dear. Thank you, everybody, for smashing that like. I appreciate you. It all goes to help the channel. So we're going to briefly go through this, and then I'm going to show you what I've come across, because I think the defense, if they are putting all their eggs in the basket of this person that they are claiming is going to prove that by their software that Bryan Kohberger was not nowhere near the 1122 King Road home, they're going to fall flat on their faces. They're going to get all scratched up. Anne is going to have a little hissy fit. I don't know how much investigation they do. I feel at this point, they just got to throw anything at the wall, see what's going to stick. Hopefully, one juror will believe what they are trying to sell. But there's a huge problem, and I am sure the prosecution come trial is going to be all over this. This company that the defense is bringing on board to try and prove Bryan Kohberger's alibi, it's not going to fly. They're going to crash and burn, hence why the thumbnail. And I'm going to show you why, because there is a court order and judgment with this person and their company. So here is what they have filed. So this, I have to bring this in just so you see who I'm talking about, because the information that I've come up with and found is why I put they're going to crash and burn. Okay. So comes now Bryan C. Kohberger, by and through his attorney of record, Nancy Taylor, public defender, blah, 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 blah. Mr. Kohberger. And this too, you guys, I got a lot of backlash when I put out the information about when Bryan had moved to Pullman, because I said that Kaylee had celebrated her birthday at the bar that everybody from the University of Washington goes to. And they said, no, Bryan wasn't there until like July or something. No, here it is right here. So he moved to Pullman, Washington in June of 2022 as an avid runner, hiker. He explored many areas of Pelosi. Really? I don't think he's a hiker. I can't see it. But look at, what he does. So look at what his extracurricular activities were. They were doing surveys and, everything had to do with legal stuff, right? Of note, he explored Wawa Park in July of 2022, and this became his favorite location. After the school year began, Mr. Kohberger was busy with classes out and work at Washington State University, and his running and hiking decreased but did not stop. I don't know. We've never heard him up to now being a runner, hiker, or anything like that, even from people that have talked about him in his past, right? Instead, his nighttime drives increased. Okay. So we know that he was taking classes. We know that he was working there. And now, taking nighttime drives and hiking and everything too. I don't know where he found all the time. This is supported by data from Mr. Kohberger's phone, showing him in the countryside late at night and or in the early morning on several occasions. If that was the case, why did they, fight back so much at putting his alibi forward? Why didn't they just come out with this at the very beginning? Look at, this is where he was. He was at this park. He hiked. What? Why is this only coming out now? Did they wait to get all the information that they could get from the defense so they could fabricate an alibi? That's what it's looking like to me, especially with this expert that has been admonished by the courts. I'm going to show you it. Because this person that they hired used to work for the prosecution. And he was thrown out. I'm going to show you it all. The phone data includes numerous photographs taken on several different late evenings and early mornings, including in November, depicting the night sky. Mr. Kohberger was out driving in the early morning hours of November 13th, as he often did, to hike and run. Well, wait a minute. First, they said that, he just used to like to drive around, clear his head, drive around. But now he's driving around to go to hikes and runs? What? And to see the moon and the stars. Okay, he drove throughout the area south of Pullman, Washington, west of Moscow, Idaho, including Wawa Park. Well, a few things wrong with that. Wawa Park is closed at dusk, so you're not allowed in there after dusk, right? And being that he's a law student, he would follow the law, right? Anyway, you're not allowed in Wawa, whatever you say it, park after dusk. It's closed. Number two, gazing at the moon and stars at night is what they go on to say. Well, that night happened to be cold, overcast. There was not a star or moon to be seen. It was overcast. There's people that have looked it up to see what it was, what it was like that night, and it was overcast and it snowed the very next day. Right? Hello, Norma. Hello, Chris, Lori. Hello, everyone. Merritt. Everybody coming in. Be kind. Hello. Mr. Kohberger intends to offer testimony of, look at, Cy Ray. Okay? Cy Ray. CSLI expert. Expert. Really? Cell tower, cell phone, and other radio frequency curricula, Vitae, is attached to show that Bryan Kohberger's mobile device was south of Pullman, Washington, and west of Moscow, Idaho on November 13th. That Bryan Kohberger's mobile device can't talk today, device did not travel east on the Moscow-Pullman highway in the early morning hours of November 13th, and thus could not be the vehicle captured on video along the Moscow-Pullman highway near Floyd's cannabis shop. So we got a little bit more information. His car was apparently caught on that highway going between Moscow and Pullman. Okay? They've got him. They've got him there. Additional information as to Mr. Kohberger's whereabouts as the early morning hours progress, including additional analysis by Mr. Ray, will be provided once the state provides discovery requested and now subject to an upcoming motion to compel. If not disclosed, Mr. Ray's testimony will also reveal that critical exculpatory evidence further corroborating Mr. Kohberger's alibi was either not preserved or has been withheld. Okay, so that's what they say. They are banking on this Cy Ray being an expert with his Zet X software that he founded. But we have a problem with that. For 10 years, this guy was an expert for the prosecution until something came about. And I'm going to show you. Okay? He's self-certified. So he's not certified by any state or any criminal authority. He's not certified. He is self-certified. Anyway, so there's going to be a lot of problems with this. And I'm going to bring this up now. Okay, here we go. The case, Mr. Ray was a witness and is appealed at a higher court, and the judge ruled didn't let his testimony. Okay, Karen, let me get my information out here. We're gonna get to that, and then we can discuss it. Colorado judge finds a sea, not a lake, not a creek, not a stream, not an ocean, a sea of unreliability in cell phone mapping data used by police. Now, this all came out October and November of 2023. Okay? And this is what's happened. We're going to go over this, and then I've got something else to show you. So let me just make this a little bit bigger so I can read it. My old eyes are getting bad in my old age. Okay. Police and prosecutors in Colorado and throughout the nation are relying on a company's cell phone location mapping data to help them convict criminal defendants, but a Larimer County judge's recent ruling cast doubt on the technology when he barred its use in his courtroom after finding it unreliable and prone to error. Okay, we're going to get into it. The defense lawyer in that case and an expert witness for the defense say the ruling by the judge could have far-reaching consequences for past criminal convictions and pending criminal cases that relied on the company's cell phone and mapping software. Okay? Exactly, Cat H. Certified by the agency of me, myself, and I. He's self-certified. He come up and made this software, which he said was on point. It was indisputable. It was the best software out there. And everybody fell for it for a long time. Okay. Prosecutors and law enforcement throughout the nation have been using data produced by this application to show juries evidence and get convictions in criminal cases, said the defense lawyer Lee Christian. Now it's been ruled as junk science. How many jurors were overly influenced by something not scientific and false? This is the stuff that Ann Taylor is relying on to prove that Bryan Kohberger was not in the area. A lot of people are jumping on this bandwagon that this is excellent. This is excellent. It's not. It's junk and it's going to be thrown out. Okay. If this is what's going to prove his alibi, sorry, Bryan, try again. The September ruling, this is September of 2023, ruling from District Court Judge Juan Villaseñor prohibited prosecutors from using the cell phone mapping technology from a company founded by a former Arizona police officer in the trial of a 43-year-old defendant charged with 3 felony counts of stalking his former girlfriend. Prosecutors ended up dropping those criminal charges, though a jury ended up convicting the defendant last month in a companion case of a misdemeanor assault charge that did not hinge on the cell phone location data. So which means he got convicted of the assault, but not of the stalking, because the location data, cell phone data, was inadmissible. It was ruled as junk. Okay. The judge did not take aim at all cell phone mapping data, which is widely used by law enforcement. Okay. So they're not saying that overall these other, companies that they use for mapping and cell phone data, he's not taking a shot at them. He just this person with this program. Okay. Rather, his ruling was limited to tracks mapping software from Chandler, Arizona-based Zet X. And that's what Ann Taylor is using, is the Zet X, which produces aerial maps prosecutors and police use to estimate the location of a defendant's cell phone during an alleged crime. In 2021, the Analytics Data Corporation LexisNexis acquired Zet X. So now Zet X is known as LexisNexis. In sum, tracks and its methods have been routinely and sharply admonished by the scientific and legal community. Admonished by the scientific and legal community. And the people haven't directed the court to any evidence showing otherwise. Okay, so he wrote in his ruling, excluding the use of the TraxX technology in the stalking criminal case, it is very likely that a jury would be misled by the Trax's flashy maps, seeming accurate results. Right? But underneath those surface displays lies a sea of unreliability that the jury will not see. The Gazette found at least 18 other criminal cases during a 2-year stretch from 2016 through 2018 that relied on Zet X Trax technology, at least partially, throughout the nation, including a double homicide conviction in Weld County. So what does this mean? Those cases are now going to be called back up and they're going to be retried because they relied on this technology from Zet X, which is now Nexus, whatever the hell it is up here, LexisNexis. It relied on their technology to convict these people, right? The law enforcement agencies that use the Zet X track technology include the Colorado Springs, the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, as well as Fort Collins Police Department, among others, said Mark Poif. Anyway, a court-qualified expert in cellular technology and former detective for the El Paso County Sheriff's Office who testified for the defense. Denver police say they do not use TraxX software. They're not using it anymore. The ramifications of this ruling could be state and even nationwide. Every case that was decided, look at this, every case that was decided based on information presented by Zet X using Trax could be reviewed and overturned. Trax produces aerial maps that plot the location of historical. Well, it is hysterical because it's trash. Cell site locations and GPS data for cell phones. Police and prosecutors use those maps to identify for juries the estimated locations of cell phones carried by defendants and their victims at the time of a crime. Other companies produce cell phone. Okay, so anyway, so I think you guys get the gist of this, right? Okay, so the judge found that Ray, who did not return telephone messages seeking comment for this article, was not a credible witness. So he found that this Cy Ray is not a credible witness. He inflated his credentials, inaccurately claiming to be an engineer, the judge wrote in his ruling, stressing that Ray had testified that he is more of an engineer than an engineer. As noted, his sole academic degree is an associate's. There is no evidence that it's related to engineering, nor is there evidence that Ray's taken any engineering classes, the judge continued. To be sure, he's created a booming business that has successfully pitched Trax to several law enforcement agencies, but a sound business model doesn't equal an accurate error rate. The judge said in his ruling that he found 3 earlier cases in which challenges to the use of Zet X Trax technology were not successful. Judges ending up accepting Trax's evidence in those cases, but he said those rulings were unpersuasive. Most compelling are the complete absence of data to support Trax's purported, oh my gosh, Jesus, take the wheel. Error rate and scientific community's wholesale rejection of Trax's message. Anyway, I'm going to link this, you guys, in the description of the video. So you guys can go over and read all of this if you want. Okay, so here comes the ruling, because they had a big thing on this, okay? In September 2022, District Court of Latimer County ruled against the prosecution's proposed use of Zet X Trax generated cell-covered maps, finding them unreliable and misleading. In addition, the court found that the software's proposed mathematical formula used to generate alleged coverage areas was untested, not peer-reviewed, and had no known error rate, and the company's founder, who came up with the formula, was not a credible witness. The complete ruling regarding people of the state of Colorado versus Christopher Russell Jones can be found here. I will also link this in the description of the video, both of these articles, so you can go and check these out for yourself. They've also got, if you're a law enforcement agency or prosecutor's office, which currently uses Zet X, and have questions about the issues presented by the Jones ruling, or have a pending matter involving Zet X mapping, please contact PCA for a secondary review. So there could be a lot of cases that are going to be overturned because of this ruling. Phone pings, I believe you have the knife there and his clothes. We don't know about the clothes, Teresa. We have no idea about the clothes. He did not say he was an engineer. He said he was more of an engineer than an engineer. Whatever. Anyway, so this is what we've got regarding this so-called alibi, right? This so-called alibi is going to be being backed by, let me just get rid of these off here so I can pull up the map. Google Earth, here we go. So let's pull this up. me just find Bryan Kohberger here. There he is. Oh, shit. Sorry, you guys. Google. Okay, so here it is. So let's see where this stuff is that they're talking about. So we believe this is the route that he took, this route here, to get to the house, and then all the drive arounds we've gone over and over and over this map. Hello, Sybil. So let's find, let me just get this over here so I can see. Let's find Floyd's. Again, of this shop. Idaho, Moscow, Idaho. Here we go. All right. So let's put a marker there because now we just found out. Okay, and we know this is true, so we'll put a red mark there and we'll make it a little bit bigger. There we go. So apparently he was caught on camera going by here. And I believe he was also caught on camera over here. Yes, I do share on Facebook too, because a lot of people are not getting their notifications on YouTube. So now that we know of this place here, let's go to Street View and let's go see what we can see. So I guess this is, there it is, Floyd's Cannabis Shop right there. We can't really get closer than this, but apparently there is video surveillance here that caught him going this way towards Moscow, because Pullman is this way. So he would have been on this side of the road going past. What's on the other side here? Nothing. So apparently he was caught on camera going past here. No problem, Karen. Hello, Kalita. So we know that, right? So what else did we find out? Let me see over here. They're saying that he went to, let's get rid of this. Wow Way Park. Okay. Let's put a pin there. Let's move it over here because it looks like this is the entrance. And let's put that red. And let's put this extra large so it's easier to find. Okay, so let's go check it out. So here is the entrance to the park. I can't read that sign, But apparently people who have looked this place up have said, this is the entrance to the park, and they have said that this closes. This closes and you can't get in there, that the gates are closed at dusk. Let's get an aerial view of it here. Oops, come on, get out of there. Let's get off of this. So that way I can get a better view. So I guess you go in on this side. This is the park. This is the parking area here, it looks like. Is there anything else here? I don't know what that is. Maybe washrooms or something here, looks like. But I mean, where would you go to stargaze here? Because here's the park, and it looks like it's in between two mountains. Well, Karen, what it does say in the filing is that he was at the park, not outside of the park, not alongside of the road. They said he was at the park and that he went here to go hiking. I don't know if there is hiking trails. Like I see a little trail right here, but I don't know if that's a hiking trail. Looks like a roadway. Or maybe a bicycle trail or something. I don't know if that's so much a hiking trail. And then it goes down into here. There does look like there's some kind of buildings in here. This is the first that I look at this, you guys, so semantics matter in court documents. Every single word you use. In court documents is scrutinized. Believe me, I worked in criminal law for over 30 years. I know that every single word you use in a document is scrutinized. So when they say he was at Wawa Park, he was at the park. Like I say, criminal court any court documents, wording is everything. So to say it's just semantics, no. I can see where you say there's parts here where you could probably, I don't know, it doesn't look much like you could maybe pull off over here and maybe down here. Yeah, and who hikes in the middle of the night, right? We know it's just bull crap, but that's a far ways away. You know what I mean? They got his phone going off here. Now, another thing, there's a cell tower right here. So it's not just like he is the cell phone's going to disconnect and not have service. There's a cell phone tower right there. Right? Oops, sorry, you guys. I hit the button by accident. There's a cell phone tower right here. Let's see. I know I've seen it, so let's see where that is. There it is right there. See the cell phone tower right here? So there's no way, like if they're trying to say that his phone just lost connection, okay, because this is the area where he turns off his phone. There's a cell phone tower. I'm going to mark that. And we know it's there, so we'll use red and we'll go extra large. Okay. Karen, the thing is, I don't know if you listened to the beginning part of this. It has been ruled by the courts that it is garbage technology that this psi ray is using. It's garbage. It's unreliable. He's self-certified and he's not recognized. Neither is his software that he came up with recognized by anybody in the legal profession except for him. There's a reason why the prosecution does not use him anymore and hasn't for some time. There is a reason for that. There is a reason why where there's a court, the judge coming out and calling it junk science, that it's unreliable. It says a lot. And this is who she's relying on for her data to prove that, like they've got Bryan Kohberger, once he turns his phone back on, they tracked him all the way back to his place. They tracked him all the way to here. They tracked his route from here. There's a cell tower here. There's a cell tower over here. They tracked his phone either coming across here or down here. I'm not exactly sure. I think it might even be across here. This was my mapping at the very beginning. I left it there so people couldn't say, oh, you changed it. No, this is the way I thought he came, but he could have came across here. I'm not sure. I'd have to look better at their mapping. But there's cell phone towers here, picked up his phone. He didn't turn his phone back on until right here. There's a cell phone tower here. There's a cell phone tower here. He turned his phone back on right here. 20 minutes outside. It should have taken him X amount of time to get here. And it took him extra time getting there because I feel that's where he's gotten rid of the knife, is somewhere in here. And he's probably put it somewhere where he could go back and get it later. He knows where it is. And I feel it's in between these 2 points here is where he got rid of the knife. That's what I've picked out. And we'll see come trial, or if they ever do find the knife, if it's found in this area, because that's where I believe it's going to be found, is here. But this is where his phone comes back on, is down here after he gets rid of the knife. So if they've tracked him, Karen, I don't know what programs or whatever their experts use that the prosecution has, but the prosecution has what they have. And I'm sure it's not this junk science software. So if they've got him, his cell phone, leaving, tracking him to here, he turns it off, he does what he does, they catch his car in other areas over here, then his phone comes back on here, he goes all the way around the long way to go back home, and they pick him up again here. But it's showing where he is, where his phone is going. There's a cell phone tower here, and there's one here. So a cell phone tower picked him up over here, here, and here. That's a long ways from the other way. So that's interesting. It's way over here. I didn't know it was that far. How far is that? Even say, let's go from here to here. 10, 11 miles in the other direction? No. No, 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 no. And I'm sure the prosecution... Okay. How many 22,000 white Hyundai Elantras in Idaho, not in that county? I don't think there's even 22,000 people in that count in Moscow or whatever that would be in this area. But anyway, I'm going to also state how many of them only have don't have front license plates. Because they have said they picked up the car and the car didn't have a front license plate. It only had a rear one, which is the way they do it in Pennsylvania. In all of Idaho, in all of those 22,000 white Hyundai Elantras that are registered in Idaho, they would have a front license plate. Okay? We on the same page there? They said in Idaho, there's 22,000 white Hyundai Elantras registered in Idaho. If you're registered in Idaho, you have a front plate and you have a back plate. That's how they do it in Idaho. In Pennsylvania, you only need a rear one. And then he went and registered his car real quick after the murders and registered his plates to Washington plates, right? Sorry, I meant Washington. Anyway, why would he do that if he's going back to Pennsylvania? Why wouldn't he have just left his Pennsylvania plate on? So there's that. I'm not going to get into debunking today with... I just want to bring out what I just brought out. I'm not going to get into the whole case. I'm just not. I'm bringing out what was found regarding Cy Ray. I went to maps to see where he was caught because that was new information that come out about this cannabis store and this park. It's the only reason. I'm not going to get into debating the whole case. I'm not doing it. I've done it over and over and over again. Today, I'm just talking about this junk science that the defense is about to try and use. We could do that maybe another time, but today is not the day. It's 3:30 in the afternoon where I am. And that's cool. You've made your point, Karen, and I respect your opinion. You are entitled to your opinion like everybody else. And there's people out there that think he's totally innocent. I'm 90% certain he is guilty. I'm leaving that 10% for the defense to show me that with what we've seen, and I'm not talking about all the rumors and all the other junk that's out there, people making stuff up and everything else. I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about what is in the probable cause affidavit, what has been given to us that is verified by law enforcement. That's what I'm going by right now. I'm also taking into account things that the defense has brought out, and I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I can't get on board with what the defense is trying to prove if it's going to be proved by science that is not legit, that is junk, that has been ruled inadmissible, not good for cases like this. Crazy Graham, thank you so much, my love, for your donation. I appreciate it. So, yes, thank you, Nana. This is what I can say about this person, and that's what the live is about today. Is about Cy Ray and his Zet X technology that the defense is going to try and use to prove that Bryan was not in the area. And what I wanted to discuss is why this is going to blow up in their face and they're going to crash and burn if they continue along this line. I have shown and proven that it's junk science and that they are afraid right now that several, maybe even hundreds of cases may be overturned if this technology was used to convict them. And that's a judge's order. So there is a reason I also brought up, let me see if I can get it up here. Okay, let me just stop sharing that for a minute because I got something else here to show you. Copy. Let's put it over here. Paste. Okay, let me show you this. Okay. Thank you again, Crazy Graham. I appreciate you. So this is back when it first started, back in 2017. Okay. Look at this. Employees, none. Not available, not available, none. Junk science. Look at this. Federal contract awards. Okay. These are the contracts that were awarded to him with this Zet X, expert witness services, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And I'm telling you that, let me see. See this self-certified small disadvantages business. They have not been used since the 5th month, the 14th day of 2023. Okay? They have not been used. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why they stopped using them. Why? Oh, crap. I closed it. Because there's a court judge that said that this is junk science. It's not reliable. There's a sea of crap that proves that it's not reliable by any means. And there is a reason why it hasn't been used since this. So they ain't making any money anymore. He has now opened up another consulting under LexisNexis, which is using the same Zet X junk science. So when you got a judge that says this has put so many cases at risk now of being tossed out, if they were convicted on this science, they've been hey, if I had a client that was convicted on this software, I'd be getting another trial for him because it's faulty, it's unreliable, it's not acknowledged by anyone in the true crime, in the criminal community, and it's been demolished because it's not reliable. It's junk. So if that's the best that Ann Taylor has, she's in big trouble. She's in big trouble. And I don't know how else I can put this. It's like they're grasping at straws. And if the only person you can get to go along with your theory or the way that you're going to try and present your case to try and show that he's innocent, this to me shows more of his guilt. Because you're using junk science, something that's unreliable, to try and sway people's opinion. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you get somebody reputable, a reputable company that comes in and says, the prosecution's got this wrong, their experts have got it wrong? Why would you go to somebody who's not reliable, has no reputation for being reliable, and it's never been used from the prosecution, and the judge has thrown out convicting somebody because of it? And probably since then, I don't know, other cases now that may be thrown out because of this junk science. Yeah, he always worked for since 2023. Tiffany, I just went over that in 2023, October and November of 2023 is when the judge abolished this Zet X software as being unreliable and junk science, that it cannot be used. I had the court stuff up. You can go back to the beginning and see it. And yes, he always worked for the prosecution. Why aren't the prosecutors using him anymore? Why was a court abolishing him if it was good science, if it was reliable? Why? Why was his contracts canceled? He hasn't been under contract with the prosecutors or anything on the government side for over a year. And the court ruling came down in October and November of 2023. And yeah, he was used in many high-profile cases, and people got convicted based on this software that now has been proved to be junk. Why doesn't he still have a contract with the government and the prosecutors? Why? It's all in the documents I just showed at the beginning of this. Brenda, I can't see the defense not wanting to win because it's her reputation on the line too. It's just like when she brought out this 1800s law, like she's going to the ends of the earth to throw anything she can, whether it's reliable or not. And it's not a good look for her. Like, no. That's not how a grand jury is supposed to, bound him over for trial or find that there's evidence for him to go to trial. No. It should be beyond all reasonable doubt. No, that's not how grand juries work. That's not how an indictment works. Beyond all reasonable doubt is for a jury to decide and no one else. Anything else is oh my gosh, my head is spinning right now. It's been like this for hundreds of years. For 100 years. The grand jury does not have to find somebody, indict somebody beyond all reasonable doubt, but Ann Taylor tried to change the law on that. And she tried to go back to Old English DNA Act law to try and find something that she could change a law that everybody's been following for the last 100 years. And that's what I mean. She's grasping at straws. But to the prosecution's expert witness on this is going to rip Cy apart. And the defense is going to look silly again. I just don't know why she would go down this road unless it's the only road she got. Did she try other expert witnesses on this and they come up with the same stuff as the prosecution did? Like once they looked over all the information and all the data that's been submitted, which we obviously are never going to see until trial, unless she gets cameras out of the courtroom too, because she seems to be getting some stuff that she really wanted. And I think a lot of this surveying things and doing what she did there it was just to solidify them having to move the trial. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I don't know. I just feel the way that she's going about certain things are making her look silly. And she's not a stupid woman by all means. You got to give respect where it's due. And she is brilliant, but she's not showing that with some of the things she's been doing in this case. I often wonder if Bryan Kohberger isn't behind a lot of this. So what I'm saying is if they've gone to high profile, very respected companies and experts that do this, and they got the same results as the prosecution, is this the only person that she could get on board with the defense to say, oh no, he wasn't in that area, he was elsewhere? And that's why she has to go with him. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. Shivani says, in my opinion, it's going down the road of Kohberger's non-existent alibi. Yeah, and if this was the case, why didn't you? An alibi should be, this is my alibi, here it is. It shouldn't have to rely on what the prosecution's going to give you. Well, we want all the information GPS from the prosecution before we give you our alibi. When you say stuff like that, that's telling me you're going to fabricate an alibi. And I think that this is the only person that would help her fabricate that alibi, because I don't think anybody reputable would do that. Right? You wouldn't need anything from the prosecution to give your alibi unless you're fabricating it around what the prosecution can prove. Right? An alibi, if it's a true, honest alibi, it doesn't matter what the prosecution has. If the prosecution right now says that Willow was in Denver, Colorado 2 nights ago and robbed a bank, and yet I'm here in Ontario, Canada, and you check, you know, the border crossings, and I didn't cross into the US, kind of blows that out of the water, right? So can I get a rogue cop friend of my family's to say, oh yeah, I seen her crossing into the US. JLR just came out with one of them that is just east of me, that you can walk down the road and just, it's like a metal bar, like a cow fence, almost like those metal pipe things going across the roadway that used to be there. And you can just climb over it and walk into the US. So just because I could get one of my family's cop friends to say, oh yeah, I seen her climbing that fence and going into the US. What? Who are you going to believe? My family's cop friend or somebody that's not reputable? Or are you going to believe a company that is reputable and time and tried again to be indisputable proof? And I hope they have that. Well, I think, Nana, at this point they have to. But I didn't think Ann Taylor would stoop that low, because she's got to realize that she's going to be judged on what she's done in this case and things that she's doing. Bryan Kohberger is indigent, so he can't afford to pay Ann Taylor, right? So it's the state that's paying for Ann Taylor and everybody else on Ann Taylor's team. But what if you were somebody with money and you wanted to hire a good lawyer because you're facing the death penalty? if you're seeing some of these tactics and how much time she's wasting going down avenues that are almost sometimes laughable, are you going to hire her? I don't want somebody who's going to waste my money and my time, right? So when you start bringing in or claiming to have experts that aren't experts and can be proven to be unreliable, junk science, and not credible within the legal community, what does that say? That's not somebody I'm going to hire. I want the best. You know what I mean? So I think she's degrading herself by going down these avenues. And is she going down these avenues on the demands from Bryan Kohberger? Because we know Bryan Kohberger thinks he's smarter than everybody else and he can outsmart everybody by wearing his gloves, even in his parents' house and stuff like that. Like I was expecting Ann Taylor to really bring it. That's why I left that 10% there, that she could change my mind about his guilt. But this ain't going to do it. Just ain't doing it. It's just, and anybody that's worked with, we got a few people in here and on the channel, a few subscribers that also have, worked or are still working in the legal system. So for somebody like myself and those people who have worked in the criminal justice system for as long as we have, I'm now retired. For over 30 years, you see stuff that the normal lay person wouldn't see. You pick up on things that the normal lay person wouldn't pick up on. And I really feel she's not doing herself any justice by going down these roads. But we're going to see. I see, actually, it's almost laughable now. And I'm not laughing at Ann Taylor this time. I'm giving her kudos. She's ruling that judge a lot of times. She stated very early on, no, I don't want to go to trial until not this summer, next summer. And the judge, nah, I'm not on board with putting it out over another year. No, not going to. But look at what she's doing to get exactly what she wants. The survey stuff and allowing those questions to be asked, and then knowing the prosecution's going to jump all over it, get into court, get a motion, blah, blah, blah. It's going to slow down. They had an emergency hearing to stop that survey. She knew that was going to happen. Don't tell me she didn't. She knew that was going to happen. It slowed everything down. They just stopped doing their surveys. That was to garner more time. And if they have to redo the surveys all over again without using those questions, that's also a lot more time. Your Honor, I can't meet my deadlines now. And now that that's going to have to be pushed out 2 months, we're going to have to push out any trial date another 2 months. You see what she's doing to get that next summer date that she wants, right? She knows what she's doing there. Now, the routes that she's taken to do that are questionable. But like I said, I would like to know how much of these things that she's doing, I don't know how to say it and still give her the respect she deserves. How much of this is on Bryan's demand? And if she doesn't do what he wants, it could be ineffective counsel, right? Ineffective counsel. If nothing else, the judge is trying to make sure that there is no reason for an appeal. There's going to be an appeal anyway on any charge like this. There's always an immediate appeal, especially if he's sentenced to the death penalty. There's an automatic appeal that always happens. But say he's found guilty of second degree, right? not an automatic appeal. You would have to have good reason to have an appeal done. And the judge is making sure that there is no basis for appeal. I get it. But to what extent are you willing to go to allow this woman to run your courtroom? I have never seen a lawyer talk back the way that Ann Taylor did on that hearing, that last hearing where the surveying had been stopped. Cutting him off, telling him what should be, and the fit that she pulled, and saying that he overstepped Bryan Kohberger's rights, stuff like that. I've never seen it in my 30 years. Never. Wouldn't have flown here, I'm telling you that much. I don't know. But anyway, you guys, with that being said, I wanted to bring this out. I am going to link those articles in the description of the video. Once I'm done here, I will go and link it right away. So you guys can go and read that whole thing if you like. Look them up. You got from Canada, I'm limited at what I can get. But you guys that are in the States can probably find a lot more regarding this. But this is what I could find on my own. So I want you to go and look it up. Like I said, I will link it in the description of this video once we're done the live, which we are going to wrap up. So thank you guys for popping in. Give this a thought. What do you guys think? If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Please give this video a like, share it out. And I'm going to end it like I always do. Please take care of yourselves. Please stay safe. Always be aware of your surroundings. I love you guys to the moon and back. Bye-bye for now.